Welcome along, ladies and gentlemen, to Season 2 of the Universal Open, presented by our fantastic friends over at Brisk and 7-Eleven. Now, we're continuing to pioneer the way in 2v2 Rocket League this year, with some of North America's best players taking on some of Europe's best as they fight it out for a prize pool of $100,000. Now, just to remind you all, we are bigger and better than last year. Of course we are. And we've got double the amount of broadcasts that are going to be coming your way, starting with the online qualifiers here in London before we move over the pond to North America for the regional finals. Now, my name is Onset. I'll be your desk host once again. And look at these two gentlemen. They're back. They're better than they were yesterday. I'm not going to lie. They're pretty hyped for today because it's all about survival today. We're going to see some teams going home, gentlemen.
Yeah, Elimination Day, always exciting. I mean, there's a lot on the line. You have one chance left, and you can't afford to waste it.
Yeah, you've got to go for a run at this point because there is an awful lot of work to do. Any more losses, you are done. You are out of the tournament. Obviously, the teams that are still in the upper bracket, they don't have to play today. They have got the day off. They can actually sit here. They can scout out the competition and see who they're going to be playing in the next round should they lose in the upper bracket, but they'll be here tomorrow.
Well, we also always love to have you guys at home involved as well. So make sure you use that hashtag UOS2 so you can get involved. Tell us who you think is going to survive today. As we say, all about elimination today. Tell us who you think is going to go through and qualify out of the Northeast section as well, because that's what it's all about today, gentlemen. Now, let's have a look at the format for Season 2 of the Universal Open presented by Brisk and 7-Eleven to keep you guys up to date on exactly how things are going to work. And here we go. We've already had the East closed qualifiers last week. Now we're in the middle of the Northeast closed qualifiers. Then we have the Central and West. The top four from all of those North American regions will move over to the regional finals, starting with Washington, D.C., New York, Chicago, and San Francisco. The top four from Europe will join those guys from the online section of the tournament to join them in our grand finals at the end there in Stamford, Connecticut. 8 teams, August 24th to 28th. If you're wondering what you're going to be doing on those dates, you're either going to be there or you're going to be watching. Now let's have a Brisk bracket update and keep you abreast of all the action that's been going on, because it's been a busy day one. It's going to be a busy day two as well. You can see some of the games that have already happened. You can see in our upper bracket there, one game away from qualification, our Word and Hawkcat E games, FlyQuest and Go Station. But as we mentioned, today is all about that lower bracket. And as you can see there, some of those teams that are still left in the tournament. Now, let's have a look at the fixtures for today. Let's have a look at exactly the action that we are going to be bringing you guys at home. Start off, gentlemen, with First In Flight versus Blue Angels. Two teams that we did not see yesterday.
We saw First In Flight.
We did, sorry, apologies. We did see First In Flight, but one of the teams we didn't see yesterday, but we are going to see them today. What can we expect from them?
Well, First In Flight had a pretty rough go yesterday. They had to play Go Station, which is Lethamyr in memory. So, they'll get to show us a bit more of what they can do instead of having to play defense all day. So hopefully they'll have a better show here.
Yeah, we came out of that game yesterday very critical of First In Flight, and that's because they just didn't play to the level that we know they can. Obviously, this is an opportunity for them to really step up, whilst on the other side, Speedy Sloths. Another names that we're not too sure on. Obviously, they've got to this point. They've done well to get here. They've got a win under their belt, so we're not going to see any 0-2s from them. That's a very important deal to a lot of players out there. Now is their opportunity to try and capitalize on that.
Well, it's going to be a very stressful day for a lot of these players, but a very rewarding one at the same time. Now, something for you guys at home to keep an eye out for, as always, is our Brisk Dual Force Achievement Unlock. Now, this will be given to any player who scores 7 goals and makes 11 saves during the series. You can see it flashing below us here. Absolutely beautiful looking graphic, that one. Big fan
You
of
won.
that one.
I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Look, I'm doing my best here. But yeah, it's a fantastic thing. So keep your eye out for that. We'll be looking to give that away. None away yesterday, but I feel like today could well be the day. Now, on a slightly more serious note, of course, we have to talk about something fantastic that we're doing during these broadcasts, thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent, and that is the fight against world hunger. Now, for every single goal that is scored during these broadcasts, Soylent will donate 10 meals to the World Food Programme in the USA. Now, if you guys at home want to get involved as well, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open, and you can get involved in what is a fantastic cause. Now, yesterday we had a lot of goals. We gave away a lot of meals, and it was a fantastic day as far as that Soylent cause was concerned.
Yeah, around
94, I think it was.
Yeah, insane number, which beat day one of last week. So good stuff. And it actually beat out day 3 as well, which
I think it was
of
even
the week before.
with day 3
Was
of
it?
last week.
I thought that was like 80-some. I don't know.
I
there
think
was a ton of goals.
There's a definite correlation between Shogun's rule and the amount that was scored
No
yesterday,
mercy.
which is no mercy.
No mercy.
That's
If
true.
you're playing today and you're getting that win, no
Smash
mercy.
'em.
Smash them. It's as simple as that. But let's talk a little bit more about our game number 1 before we do get underway. First in Flight yesterday, obviously knocked down to our losers bracket. They had a tough game. But at the same time, they were playing against some of the best players that we have in this region. So, you know, they had the potential and the opportunity to learn a lot from that game, and they could bring that into today.
Yeah, I mean, they're playing Blue Angels, I believe, so Rox and B. Hollis. Two guys, no idea. It's just more chances for the community. That's kind of the interesting thing when you get the Universal Open. You break it down by regions. You get a lot of people who you wouldn't normally see if you just did one massive open qualifier, because then you'd end up with, 16 teams, everybody knows who they are. So when you break it down by region, you really get to see some of the talent that you would almost never get a chance to see, which is always interesting.
It's going to be very good for them to start being able to build up. I mean, these are all teams now that we get to look at some of these names and just go, okay, we've now got you in the sights. A couple of decent results here, and then you definitely become a team or player to watch out for if you've really got those performances going for you. So it's a good opportunity for them. On the other side, First in Flight, we got to see something more. They were very poor on stream yesterday. They've got to
Scored
play
3
better
goals.
if they want to keep going. Yeah, 3 goals. Yes, they had a difficult opponent, but they never really stepped up and gave themselves a chance to even win it. So I want to see something more from them today. I want to see a more positive game style.
Well, let's hope that we do see that, because as we remind everyone at home in the Northeast Closed qualifier, that if you lose today, that's it, I'm afraid for you. You're out of the tournament. You're not going to make it to regionals, and you're not going to be one of those 4 qualifying teams that gets through to those regionals. So we'll keep an eye on those. And I mean, looking at that lower bracket today, we've seen all the teams that are in there. I mean, who do you think could fight their way through to still be in with a shout of qualifying tomorrow?
Well, I thought Oxygen had a pretty good chance, but we're not sure if they're going to make it today. I still think First in Flight have a pretty okay chance as we move on into game number 1, Shogun. Curious about Gino Cop and Donnie, their team. Those are my 3 big ones.
Should be able to make a decent run of this tournament. However, they're not the ones that we are too worried about at this point in time. It's First in Flight looking to try and bounce back from yesterday's game, and there's going to be no bouncing back there. Demo completely removing Sharif from the game, at least for a momentary second. Rox trying to nail something. I don't think he ever really got the wave dash to go onto his side. Very even start to this game. But for Blue Angels, the main thing for us right now, especially as broadcasters, we're looking out to see just how well they've got the fundamentals of Rocket League down, just how well their positioning is going to be. And so far, it's looking pretty solid. I'm not seeing anything glaring happening from their side. I feel as this could be an opportunity to set up, and there's going to be the commit.
Yeah,
Always so dangerous when you send 2 forward for that.
Yeah, you absolutely did hit the nail on the head, though. It is very much a test. Since, I mean, we don't know almost anything about Rox and Hollis. It's really just, all right, this is your real test of fundamentals before they play some stiff competition, because as we mentioned yesterday, Sharif and Coleman are longtime members of the Rocket League community, and while they may not be at the top of their game that we're used to seeing out of them anymore, they're still very formidable opponents, and you can't afford to take them lightly.
Well, I believe they've already had more offense in this game than the entire match that they had yesterday. Trying to push that ball forward. It's going to be Coleman by himself. Shot shouldn't really test him too much. Got to really find the upper corners of the field. Although Coleman beats that ball, Sharif will be by himself. Takes the ball under his own control.
Ooh, nice cut.
And then there is the dancing feet of Sharif. Can't quite turn it into the back of the net. But he has been noticed as a one specialist. And he's going to have to be respected as such. Every time he gets that ball under his own control, he can be so dangerous. Or he can just lever that one into the middle of the net.
Nice setup here by Coleman. He takes it just around Rox, and then don't think he has the boost to really do anything. Yeah, he's just trying to get that ball out. Definitely saying, I'm going to need a little bit of help here. Sharif playing really close. Very risky play. Did pay off, though. The nice aggressive push from Sharif at the end.
Well, for first in, that is the perfect start for them. Only managed 3 goals on stream yesterday. They've already got themselves a little bit closer to not having to deal with that scoreline. Sharif takes his time.
Was Sharif in the Dominus yesterday? I think he was in the Octane.
I believe he was Octane pretty much all day. And there is going to be Coleman with the goal. But Sharif's 12 Titans qualifier was in the Dominus, I believe. That was when he had his best run I've ever seen from him. So hopefully he's trying to re-establish that, maybe get back into the same mindset.
Always interesting. There's really not too many differences between the cars, but one thing a lot of players will always cite between the cars is you tend to really be able to get some strong power behind the ball in the Dominus. That's a big whiff, and Hollis put it off the post.
Oh, wow.
Ouch.
Okay, so the complete lack of any contact on the ball from first in was bad. The inability to turn that ball in when you are 2 goals down,
Really bad.
that's worse.
Feels super bad, man.
There's some psychological games coming out from first in, knowing that potential was there for missing. And just saying, you won't. And as we have mentioned to you before, Achieves, what are the rules when you say you won't?
You must.
You must. Sharif will turn that in for a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, it's a pretty comfortable game, number 1, I think, for Coleman A and Sharif. It's good for them to get it a little bit going here. Hollis, I think he kind of might have played himself there a little bit, maybe even lost track of where he was on the pitch exactly. I know I've done that a few times. You think you have a bit more space to work with. You think you're at the top of the box when, in fact, you're right in the middle of it and just ends up riding up the wall and coming off the post. Gives himself no chance at that last one.
Sharif wants to keep that play going. Coleman leaves it a little bit too long. And Rox can move himself in, pick up the first goal for Blue Angels.
Let's take another look at this. It's a clean win. And, yeah, Coleman just thinks he has time to grab the boost, and that is a fatal error. That's even something that happens in ones all the time. It's like you think you've got time to go grab the boost when the ball's on the left-hand side, and they'll just smash it right in the net.
That could be making it 3-2.
Oh, he
what a
made it.
save, Sharif. Caused his own problems, but when you fix them yourself, they're not problems at all.
I don't know. I still think they're problems, but it is a great fix. But not that time. Rox comes off the side wall, steals it off his hood, and throws it into the net.
And this is big for Blue Angels. They look like they were a team that were down and out, but mispositioning from first in means that they give that ball away. This is a 1-goal game at this point. Blue Angels riding the momentum. And for first in, I want to see them just take control of this ball and figure out what they're trying to do with it, because they're handing away too many light goals.
You know, what's really unfortunate is if this ends up being the final scoreline, they're going to remember that breakaway chance that they missed.
Rox just over the top. Coleman will be by himself just for a second. Can't follow this up. Hollis did not really want to have anything to do with that ball, and that is a moment of hesitation that will cost them. They had to stay on the offensive.
Yeah, interesting choice there from Rox as well. He got the boost stolen away from him in the midfield, and right here it's a weird cut in the middle of the net. Not entirely sure what he was looking at. Maybe he saw Sharif. If you don't have spectator ball cam force on, he might have been seeing Sharif come out of the corner and just tried to dodge the demo. Just ended up conceding the goal, though, unfortunately.
Well, the deficit has been reopened. Blue Angels, 2 goals down. They've got just over a minute to try and force this game back. And maybe force some overtime. That is a good pass, but Hollis was already turning around. No point of a pass if your teammate does not believe in it.
Ooh, no boost. Dangerous.
Coleman, back over to the side. Now Hollis, he's got to try and avoid some demo and bump attempts. The shot was just a little bit too wide. Now Rox, the other side of the field. First touch, way too heavy. Will not be able to create too much. Instead, it's pressure still on. Rox is there first. 1-goal game. 38 seconds left.
That's actually the hat trick for Rox as well. He's gotten himself in good form here in game 1. Well, Hollis actually got a double touch there as that went around the corner. Took a second little skip right off his car, gave it some extra power behind it, and that might have caught Coleman off guard a little bit in the net.
3 goals to one of the teammates. 3 saves to the other, but
Oh,
neither of them
man.
have really been able to settle down anywhere else. Neither have they been able to settle down when they get the game nice and close.
You said no mercy, Shogun. You're getting it. It's, what, 8 goals?
8 goals, and there's still 31 seconds to keep that ramping up. For first in, this is not the clinical display that they would have wanted, but it is still looking like it's going to be a victory unless Blue Angels can show something up nice and quick. But being beat to that ball means Sharif can take the shot. Nice save. Keeps Blue Angels in the game. Coleman wins the challenge, and low boost on Rox is going to make life incredibly difficult, and Sharif, he smelt that one. Keeps moving forward, 10 seconds left. Hollis
Ooh, nice
forces
challenge.
the challenge, and Rox still low boost. He's just getting back into the play. That is going to be the end of the game. 2 goals looking like it could be the difference. Maybe we could have got 1 more. Sharif going to try and take it the entire way. What a flick that is. He's got
he
1
dropped
more, but the 0-second hero will not happen. And for these 2 teams, there is plenty to improve heading into this next game.
Yeah, Onset, really felt like both teams allowed in a lot of goals they really shouldn't have. There was a couple of chances on both teams where that was kind of I don't know how you managed to let that one in, but I think we might see a little low-scoring games moving forward.
Yeah, first game jitters, potentially. We always talk about that, first game of the tournament, you like, especially in elimination games as well. It's always like, okay, we need to make things right, but you can cause a little bit of indecision, and we did see that in a few of the goals that were conceded.
Yeah, and there's a slight problem I see on the side of Blue Angels where there's just that lack of trust of some sort, just a lack of a belief in their own plays. One that was really telling for me was over in the corner when they tried to play the ball into the middle. Hollis had already turned around. He was already out of there when they're 2 goals down at a time. They need to be getting something into the back of the net. 2-0, 2 goals down, 3 goals down, doesn't make a difference. Take your opportunities when you get them.
Yeah, and it doesn't help that they also missed that wide open net earlier. Might have set them a little bit off kilter earlier than they would like. But, you got to put that one behind you. You only got a best of 5. You don't have a lot of time to brood here.
One thing for Blue Angels they can take away from it, though, is that, they were 3-0 down. They did make it come back. They did get themselves back into the game at least. They have shown that they can score, and they can make this a tight series. But you just feel like after that game 1, it's going to be more a series based on who makes the least mistakes rather than who makes the better plays.
Yeah, and there's a little bit of boost management that this really seems to be a problem on both sides at this moment in time. Very little times am I seeing a player get hold of the ball and really seem fast when they've got it. It's more a case of midfield battles end up resulting in an open goal or just a straight-up whiff. I would like to see some more boost management on both sides so that way they can be a lot more creative with the ball, maybe take it elsewhere, because this is just, right now, the ball is glued to the floor, and we're just seeing these two teams ram into it and seeing who can get it onto their side.
Well, one good thing, we were talking about no mercy. We were talking about the fact we wanted goals. We had 8 goals in our first series there. Just a little reminder to everyone at home, thanks to our fantastic partners over at Soylent. That means 80 meals will be going to the World Food Programme over in the USA. Fantastic cause, of course. If you want to get involved, head over to WFPUSA.org. And Shogun, this is your moment, /
Universal Open.
Universal Open. That's why I love you. Anyway,
I love you too on set.
Thank you. We watched the football together.
We did. That was a bonding experience, that was.
It was a wholesome desk.
It was. It really was. But 8 goals scored, 80 meals already, and a great start as far as that part of the show is concerned.
That's a real good start. And we've got 3 more games to go, and a series even. Not even games. Series.
Exactly. First game. I mean, what's going to change in this second game? Do you think it is just a case of limiting those mistakes is going to be a big thing?
Yeah, it's just tighten the screws on both teams, really. That's all I want. It's just you got to realize that you don't have a lot of room to mess about here, I suppose, is what I'm looking for.
I mean, the analytical side of me says I really want to see tighter defenses. I want to see more clinical gameplay. But the fan in me just says, you know what? Do that,
it's free
but do it
clock.
more. Just get loads of goals. I want to see double digits.
Well, let's see if we can find double digits then. It looks like the teams are loaded into the lobby. So, gentlemen, I'm going to throw it back to you because game number 2 is just a few moments away.
Lovely.
Lovely indeed. I mean, we know exactly what we want to look for. We've spoken plenty about it. But have these two teams figured out where their faults are? Obviously, Blue Angels have more to correct than First In. First In can definitely see themselves through just by repeating what they took from that last game. And there is going to be a nice challenge. That is the reason why you do not challenge from a typically bad angle, because Hollis, all he was really able to do there was catapult that ball even further to his side. You can see what that's resulted in. First In have all of the pressure, all of the shots, and now they've got the only goal of the match.
Yeah, and this one also worked out quite well because Rox was driving around the front of his net with no boost really in the tank. He only had 11 to work with, so he was just driving around. He saw that one go up high and said, I can't do much about this. I kind of just have to take my best chance. And Sharif, great positioning behind the ball. Coleman coming in to finish the job, and great execution from First In Flight.
Challenge win. Hollis chooses for the ball rather than the boost. It ends up being the wrong decision because he's missed the ball entirely. Leaves Rox all by himself against 2 teammates who should be able to position themselves well. However, the miss will not help. Hollis' shot up high.
No boost.
And Sharif can just flick that ball back into the midfield. Coleman, though, doesn't look too comfortable. Bit of a slow continuation of this game. Now 2 players in the middle. I believe that was 2 blue players. That has to be on target. It was, but the quick recovery from Sharif was good enough to keep that ball at the back of the net. Coleman aiming for a demo. Sharif all the way back, though.
Oh, no.
Sharif can probably follow this one up. He's going to. 2 goals to nothing. Blue Angels just sort of hit, hoped, and fell apart.
Yeah, I don't think Hollis even saw Sharif there in the midfield. So focused on the pass from Rox and thinking about how he was going to hit it. Didn't take a second to realize of whether or not a blue player was coming to steal it from right under their noses, and that's an easy one for Sharif.
You are going to go for those infield passing plays. You can't afford to telegraph them too much. And also, you've got to hit it properly, otherwise it's just going to be a slow bobbling ball to be intercepted.
Oh, he went for the bump there.
That was a nice challenge.
Oh, he got
Follow-up
it.
will be right into the back of the net. Blue Angels, they've not allowed any of these games to get too far away from them. If we are going to give them credit for something, that is something I would really like to do, because we've seen a lot of teams in this tournament, they go 2 goals down and they just give up.
Or they get a little too antsy, and they don't realize how much time they really have, and they try and play far too aggressive too early. I realize you can't afford to get down a lot early on, but 3.5 minutes is plenty of time to work with. It's kind of what you talked about a little bit yesterday. It's you can't take 8 terrible chances when you could make it 1 great chance.
Well, this is going to be a phenomenal chance for Coleman. It was just a little bit too far, but Sharif, I've got to say, he's hitting the ball pretty cleanly today, and that is helping out so much.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Also, Sharif has had a bit more space to work with as well, and that's definitely played into their favor. The positioning on defense a little bit off from Rox and Hollis, just not used to perhaps the pressure they're under currently.
Well, Sharif's first touch yesterday was often described as heavy.
Yeah.
Often-
Yeah. Two opposite ends of the spectrum, but we're going after the same thing.
Just never really had to seem full control, but we've seen him off the wall. We've seen him just there. Seems like he's nailing it that little bit more today. If Sharif is nailing that, then he's become a huge threat as this tournament goes on, as he's going to pick up
There's that
yet
one as well.
another one. Hat-trick here on the field.
And it's a pretty good dribble again. He doesn't really do too much, just keeps the positioning sound as he's going for this challenge. He's seeing it very telegraphed from Hollis and Rox. There's not a lot of thinking he has to do about it. Just beat him to the ball, make sure you get behind the center of it, put the center of mass of your card behind it, and you'll come out on top. It's fundamental challenging 101, man. Timing, positioning, win.
Timing, positioning, hit it really hard.
Hit it really hard.
The harder you hit it, the more likely you are to win. Or
Objective facts.
it could just ricochet off the other car and go into your net. But, you know, I'm an optimist.
You are an optimist.
I am the most optimistic
if
person.
nothing else.
If anything, I am the person that is always saying the glass is half full. Pass over to the side. Coleman trying to go for a block shot.
Oh, he's got Coleman on the right. Ooh, good idea.
And Coleman's already out of there. But still a lovely block once again. Rox, he seems like he's low on boost. This is not going to... Oh, Sharif missed it. He tried to just skirt on the outside of the hitbox of the boost, and so is Coleman missing the boost as well.
Man, super aggressive play there from Rox and Hollis, but now they're down by 3 and they've only got 2 minutes. You can kind of justify that one a little bit more.
Throw yourself at everything and hope it works out.
I don't know about that. I mean, you are a glass half full kind of guy.
Yes. I don't care if it doesn't work 999 times. That
It's that
1,000th
one that
attempt,
makes it totally worth.
it'll work perfectly. It's like stealing shots.
How many ceiling shots do you go for on average, Shogun? Let's say you played 10 matches.
Let's say I played 10 matches.
Sorry, 10 games.
Okay. I would say roughly about 4, but 3 of them would be to get myself out of defense.
Okay. Only
Like-
one really with the intent to score.
With the intent to score,
All right.
I would say.
All right.
I actually possibly go for more flip resets.
Okay.
Because everyone's trying to go for flip resets at this point.
And that easily comes in the tens of thousands of attempts.
Oh, yeah. Especially if I'm winning. If I'm losing, then maybe not. So
Oh, nice play.
maybe an attempt every 10 games.
Great placement here from Sharif, though. Coleman with a great air dribble as well, and Hollis a weak touch, just trying to get it back into the corner for safety so he can buy some time for his team to reset. But just doesn't get a strong first touch, and Sharif will punish that one.
Any chance you can get the save stats over to us, Mr. Achieves? Considering I
don't-
believe the goals part of the achievement is pretty close, if not already been sorted out.
I keep telling myself I should keep track of saves, but also, at the same time, I'm not sure Sharif and Coleman have had enough shots put at them where they'd have to make a save.
Oh, Sharif, that's number 6 for him.
Just in this game.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing work at the moment, and he's a man after my own heart. He already knows he's won this.
You said no mercy, Shogun.
He is showing no mercy.
You're getting it here.
I am very proud. All for charity, my friend, all for charity.
And that makes it worth it.
Well, Coleman will miss. Sharif tries to go around. Is this going to be number 7? Instead, he's going to lay this one off to a Coleman who didn't expect the ball.
Put it in your own net, just cuz.
Rocks. His touch all the way off to the side. Sharif going to try and go for yet another one.
Pass back. Oh, it's too far.
Almost turned into the own net, but that was actually Rocks putting it just high enough that he can now follow up his own touch. This might be the longest period of time we've seen in quite a while where Thurston have just not scored. More specifically, Sharif has not scored.
Ooh, hit the lip there, too.
I think if it goes a whole minute, we can consider that a drought on the part of Sharif.
In game 2, absolutely. He's scored once about every 30 seconds or so until the last 2 minutes, and then it's been, every 10.
So far, we've seen 8 goals in every single game. Going to potentially come back out. And first in, looking very comfortable at this point in time. And Blue Angels have got a lot of work, and they've got a lot to fix if they want any chance of bouncing back in this game. Onset, you saw that one.
I saw Sharif.
Yeah,
I
we
saw
all saw
Sharif
Sharif.
turning up, and that's what I like to see. We love to see goals, gentlemen, don't we?
Yes.
We love to see goals, but I mean that man. I don't know what you have for breakfast or lunch or dinner, wherever wherever the time is over in North America at the moment. But I mean that guy is shooting nice.
I mean, he's got to look at what he's ate today, and then look at what he ate yesterday, and just cut that out of his diet
Serious,
entirely.
Never
serious
again.
Dietary advice
It's
here
a
from
dietary problem.
Universal Open.
Cereal before the broadcast? No. It's all about clam sauce and, I don't know, something other weird. Some other
just a
strange
bowl of sauce.
Cereal is good any time of the day.
That is true. That is true.
Yeah, but I mean, 8 more goals there, gentlemen. And that one was, that was a little bit of a demolition, that one. And I feel like on the other side of things, I feel like Blue Angels, maybe they did start to fall apart a little bit there. I mean, you were talking about how, they kept their fundamentals up in that first game. They kept trying to do the same thing, but I just felt like the pattern of play started to change when they went down in that one, and it did fall apart a little bit for them.
Yeah, they had a little bit of time to work with at the start of that series. They were only down by 2 goals at the 3-minute mark, and then Sharif, that was about the time Sharif decided to just, score everything.
Yeah,
And,
there was a big problem there where they went down 2 goals, and that's the point where you're starting to see teams sort of stretch themselves out a little bit more, try and be slightly more creative so they can get themselves back into the game. However, when Sharif starts popping off like that, he was in front of everything. They couldn't get the ball past him, and there's nothing they could really do. They were just outclassed very slightly by a player who seems to have found his form.
Well, also Coleman and Sharif are doing an excellent job denying a lot of the boost. Rox and Hollis have not had hardly anything. It feels like,
I mean,
to
we
move out
turn
of their
around
own
and
half.
say, play faster. You can't.
You can't. You
You
literally
actually can't.
Yeah, you physically can't. But I mean, I want to talk about Sharif because it's been one of those things that through the East qualifier that we saw that when a team found a player and when they found their stride as far as finishing chances is concerned, when they found a player who was every single thing that was created was finding the back of the net, they were the ones that made it into those qualification spots. Now that Sharif found his form, do you think he can maybe move forward through the bracket and maybe give some of the teams that they lost to, the team they lost to yesterday and some of the other teams in the upper bracket a little bit more of a run for their money?
It depends who they play next round. When we get that bracket update later, we'll take a look and I'll think a little bit harder on that. But I think they might play Revival or Speedy Sloths. They're on that side of the bracket, right?
We'll find out
Maybe.
soon.
Very much maybe. I say they have a chance. They've always had a chance.
Always have a
I mean,
chance,
I've been
yes.
looking at them and just going, okay, maybe the last game was a little bit too difficult for them, but they could have made it closer. That was the reason why I was upset yesterday, because they never gave themselves a chance. So mechanically, I don't have any doubts that they can get up there and potentially qualify. But will they give themselves that chance? This is not really the game that we're going to get an answer to that question right now. Rocks will miss the ball. Sharif.
Oh, man.
Oh, he's not going to be able to start off this game by scoring. However,
Coleman
Coleman,
will.
he got the first goal in the last game. He gets the first goal in this one. Only took 11 seconds.
And he really didn't have to do too much. After he saw Hollis have that awkward landing, he knew the back post was completely open. No chance of the defender. Clinical Shogun.
Certainly what they need. Certainly their stats sounding a lot better than they were yesterday. Only 3 goals in their stream series. And at this point,
13
They're up
so
to-
far.
yes, 5, 7.
I just counted.
Oh, cool. I was just going to do math. This is what happened. I ain't got time for notes.
We've talked about math. We talked about math at great length last week, Shogun.
We did.
It's a -2 intelligence debuff when attempting an arithmetic on stream.
You even said arithmetic.
I know. Is that what they call it here in the UK? Is it arithmetic or is it maths?
Maths.
Maths?
It's not. Arithmetic just sounds like
You're trying
some
too
sort
hard?
of muscle spasm.
What? On set, it's just like, I don't get it.
Oh, wow. What a
Ooh.
shot there from Coleman.
Now, you may call it maths, but Coleman is an expert at geometry, which is also a form of math. And thankfully, players are not casters, so they're allowed to be good at it. And that's a brilliant execution from Coleman.
Yes. Hit it really hard.
Hit it really hard and make sure it goes in the right direction, and good things happen. This has been How to Play Rocket League 101 from the Universal Open.
They've certainly looked like they're up to a different pace today. Coleman, sick of Sharif getting all the plaudits. However, Sharif will be credited with the goal.
They don't even let me write down the details of the last goal before they score another one. And Coleman just makes them all look silly.
Well, I did ask for double digits earlier on.
Yeah, you did.
This game is definitely on its way to that at this point in time. First in, decimating their competition.
Do we want to try and do the math and see how many goals they need per minute to get to 10? They're at 3 in a minute and 15, so times 3 puts them at 4:45, which leaves them 15 seconds to get 1 goal. They're pretty close. Go! Go, 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 go. I think I did that right off the top of my head.
Sharif now to the corner, just trying to add more to the scoreboard at this time as Rox clears the ball wide. They've also got the option downfield, but the double tap is not around.
Oh, is that one over his head?
Could very well be. It's
Oh,
into
it
the back
is.
of the net. Sharif picks up his second. We are very much on target.
It's a nice touch here from Sharif. Just launches that ball downfield. That's the benefit of the Dominus. I mean, it's a lot easier to line that shot up with those Dominus corners because it's got that nice sharp corner on the hitbox. And obviously, you can do the exact same thing with the Octane. It's just that corner is a bit harder to line up due to the length of the car, and that's probably why it's so easy. It feels so easy to hit the ball with the Dominus because you can just line things up a little easier. What a touch, and it doesn't matter. I'm sad.
Sharif's touch just pushes the ball a little bit too far to the right-hand side. Coleman, trusting the ball's going to come over to him, instead picks up that boost. Flick just over the top. Every single game so far looking more and more like it's in First In's favor. Now off the backboard. Follow up from Sharif, not there. Coleman just has to run forward. Gets that ball over to the far side. It will not be on target. But 0 boost. Well, only momentarily on Rox.
Here's a good chance for him, actually.
With their first goal of the game, if
Oh,
they
he
can get
couldn't
it, but
pass
the
it.
first touch. Straight down to the body of the car from Coleman.
Ooh. Ran right into each other. I think they're really just stretching to try and do anything, and it's just throwing them all out of sorts. Rox and Hollis just look rattled.
Back out, Coleman. Managed to take it past his own teammate as well. He's even got one more to beat. Turns out to be the hardest one to beat. And the scoring has definitely slowed down just that little bit, but Blue Angels, they need to pick it right back up if they want any chance of getting back into this game.
Ooh. Hollis very aggressive. Can't blame them for trying to go for that. They need a win in the game.
Well, Sharif tries to employ the hit the ball very hard strategy. It's a terrible strategy. Should never be gone for. Defender was always there.
Every time. Ooh, nice cut. One-on-one. Here we go. Let's see it, Sharif. Do it to him.
Now Coleman all the way back as well. Will he beats that ball as it goes straight up the wall. Minute and 90 now. Double digits definitely seems like it's maybe
Off
a bit of
the
a
table.
stretch, but maybe we can pick up a goal there from Blue Angels. Nope. Sharif keeping the ball in his own possession.
What? Did you see that?
I think there was an attempt at a wave dash catch.
The 360 landing Ultra BM pass back to Coleman, and they don't get it.
Yeah, it was the 360 attempt of a shot there from the rear end of Sharif, and now it's going to be onto the back of the net.
Oh, Coleman
Blue
had no
Angels.
boost. Okay.
Pick up their first of this game. Need 3 more in the next minute and 5
Oh.
seconds.
Unfortunate there from Coleman. He got bumped on his way back and tried to flip into the net, and unfortunately he did it a little too fast, so he started sliding on the side of his car, and he never got the wheels back on the ground, and he couldn't jump.
Sharif. Oh, let's go for the flip resets.
Why not?
And there it is.
Yeah, pretty clean.
It was really good, to be completely honest.
That's like, if I could do that, I would be satisfied with my mechanical abilities.
Well, I definitely enjoy the way that he uses the rotations in the car just to be able to set up for the rear end of that Dominus, making some of that car pick become more of an advantage to him.
Levers. Lever physics, man.
And Sharif is going to be able to take a hold of that ball, but with 5 goals to 1, Blue Angels staring down the barrel of elimination in the Universal Open. First in, just playing so much cleaner than they did yesterday, and they're getting that much closer to that $100,000 prize pool. Still a long way to go, though. This is only the first game of today's broadcast. We have still got plenty more to come on your screens. First in, they'll be looking to try and make their way into day 3. Sherif with the fake out. One more for the road from him. 4 goals in this game. We're up to 7. Maybe some kickoffs, maybe.
I mean,
get up to 10.
Maybe. And man, I always think you're joking when you say no mercy, but man, Sherif took that and ran with it. My good, I'm going to count real fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 goals in the series for Sherif.
Won't put it past him to add 1 extra before this game is done. Coleman with the clear. You can see Rocks all the way back. They just don't want to concede anything else. They will let that ball drop to the floor. 3-0 to first in. And it was domination on set.
It was very much domination. And that man, Sherif, is going to want his next game to get underway pretty quickly, to be honest with you. He's going to be feeling very, very good coming out of that one. That's exactly how you want to start an elimination day, essentially in the tournament. You want that confidence to start flowing through you and your team.
And Coleman as well is like, sweet, I'll go along for the ride.
Exactly.
You want to carry me? Let's go.
Well, confidence breeds confidence, doesn't it? That's the thing.
Does.
If you've got a teammate that's playing that well, then
good play breeds good play.
Exactly. It makes you feel confident. It makes you want to get into that next game as well. And I mean, although Sherif was the man who was doing a lot of the flashy stuff there, we have to give props to Coleman. He was doing everything that was required as well.
I think Coleman lost a 50 all game. Every single time he went to challenge, he did win the ball outright.
It kind of felt that way for First in Flight in general. I think Roxanne Hollis, there's a decent chance that this could have been Roxanne Hollis's first attempt at some really stiff competition. And to be fair, it's not like they played terrible. You could just tell they're outclassed. They have a couple of things to really work on in terms of the positioning aspect. But other than that, I mean, come back next time.
Yeah, we saw what happens when the game goes to the air. A little bit more in that second game. I mean, we saw them, Roxanne Hollis, spending a lot of time on their own back line. And against a player like Sherif, and this is the reason why I believe Sherif, I genuinely believe Coleman has the ability to pop off in a more regular style game. But in a game where defenders are being so passive, you give that to Sherif, he is going to use that space and just get nice and close and put in a perfect shot.
Yeah.
Well, the good news is we had 23 goals scored during that series. That's 23. That's 2-3 scored in that series, which means 230 meals will be going towards the fight against hunger, thanks to our fantastic friends over at Soylent. Again, if you want to get involved, head over to wfpusa.org/Universal Open. What a way to start, gentlemen. 23 goals already. 23. I mean, we didn't want mercy. We didn't get it.
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about breaking a day 1 record already when you start off game 1 with 23. So it's pretty good odds.
Yeah, I mean, we usually see a lot more goals during... I mean, it has been the question is, will a smashing in 3 games result in more goals than a 5-game mega series? Not too sure yet. I think the question's still up in the air.
Well, we'll find out by the end of the broadcast, I'm sure, especially by the end of the qualification period. But let's have a quick brisk bracket update now and see how that has changed things as far as the complexion of the tournament is concerned.
They will
you
play
can
Revival.
See now, yeah, you can see that now. First in Flight, obviously, who have just sent Blue Angels packing, will be now taking on Revival. And on the other side there, in blue, will be taking on Mercury Pencils, gentlemen. So 2 very interesting matches to come.
And I think we're in the same situation as last week, where a DQ results in only 3 matches on day 2. So it's going to make it that much harder to break yesterday's record. So, you know, I would like to take this opportunity to rescind what I just said about a minute ago.
But the big thing happens. We were talking during that series about how we need to see Coleman and Sherif against decent competition to see whether or not they can play that style.
They're about to get it.
They're about to get it. Revival will give them that competition.
Well, it's definitely a game to look forward to. And, of course, we want to know your thoughts on that series. And we always want to know your thoughts on the series we have coming up as well. So use that hashtag that is above Achieves' head still. It will never move. I promise you that. It is UOS2. So get in touch with us and the guys on the desk as well. We want to hear your questions. And if we've got good tweets, we'll try and get them on the broadcast as well. But that's going to do it all for game number 1, gentlemen. I'm very much looking forward to game number 2.
For sure.
Going to be a good one, but we're going to take a very quick break to set up game number 2. When we're back, though, it's going to be a banger. Don't go anywhere.